Hi everyone, and welcome to our Cupboard Manager webinar for the 2016 Cookie Program. Thank you to all of you, for joining us and logging on to the webinar. And thank you for volunteering to be either a service unit, Cookie Cupboard Manager, or a Council Cupboard Manager for us this year. This is a really important position in Girl Scouting, as most of you know who've done this before, but even if you're new, you guys know that you are the people who are bringing the rest of the cookies out to your service units and to the troops in Connecticut. So troops and service units will be contacting you looking for cookies in the next couple of weeks. And today I'm going to walk you through how to make the entries in eBuddy when people pick up and when they return for their booth sale cookies. And we're also going to go over some of the paperwork that has been either already sent out to you, you may already have it in your possession, or is on its way to you either via the mail or via your product sales manager. But before we jump into that, I just wanted to introduce the members of our team in product sales. You see us right here on the screen. We have 3 people who work at our North Haven office. That's Ann Nunhaku, who's our Director of Product Sales, Julie Sweeney, who's our Administrative Assistant, and Lisa Deschanel, who is the Product Sales Manager in that part of the state. There's myself in the Waterbury office. I'm Allison. And then Susan Pratt is in the Wilton office, and Nancy Sherman is in the Hartford office. I'm assuming that most of you probably know who your Product Sales Manager is, and you've probably been in contact with them on a few occasions so far this cookie program. But if you are uncertain as to who your contact is, feel free to give productsales@gsofct.org to send an email to us there, and we'll be happy to direct you to the correct product sales manager for your area. Your product sales manager will be happy to answer any questions following the webinar. Just send an email or give a phone call. We definitely want to make sure that all of you are comfortable running the cupboard, making your entries, and working with the volunteers in your area. So please don't hesitate to contact us. We definitely want to make sure that you have our support and that we can make the next couple of weeks in the cookie program really great for goal-getters and for booth sales for all of our troops. So before we get into eBuddy, which I know you see up here and you just can't wait to log in there, I'm going to go over a couple of the items that have been mailed to you. I won't go over everything in that packet, but just a few items so that you know sort of what is going on that you'll be using for your troops when they come to pick up their cookies. So the first thing I'm just going to show you, this is the Council Cupboard Manager letter, but the Service Unit one is very basic as well. So the first item here is talking about the paperwork that we use for booth sale. So you will have some goal-getter pickups at your cupboard, but as you know, our booth sales are also running from February 27th through March 27th, and for most of you, booth sales will be the majority of the cookies that are coming in and out of your and going out of your cupboard. So the first item here are some booth sale guidelines, and this is a form that will help you to decide, what should go out for booth sales. We definitely want to make sure that everybody has enough cookies for their cookie booth, but we don't want people to be overwhelmed with their number of cookies. So this is what this form looks like. This is not to be distributed, to troops. I mean, it's not a secret, but you only have one copy of this in your envelope because this is just for your personal reference as you put together your orders for troops. So we do recommend about 20 cases. Those of you who have done booth sales before, or election day booth sales, we always start with the 20 cases. Will probably see this look very familiar to you. So the majority of your booths that go out probably will be 20 cases, especially towards the very beginning of the cookie program booth sale period. If you're at a smaller, sort of mom and pop store, or maybe the troop thought they were going to be able to do their booth for 4 hours, now they only have coverage for an hour and a half or 2, you might want to bump that down just a little bit on the cases, just so that they're not overwhelmed with the number of cases that they have. The other thing is that you're always welcome to ask troop cookie managers when they contact you, especially at the beginning of the sale, they might have some extras from their initial order. So if they're, a troop that had 10 extra Rah Raisin cookies from their initial order, they probably don't need a full case of Rah raisins. But, if somebody only had, 2 Samoas left, then we definitely want to make sure that we are loading them up with Samoas so that they will have enough for their booth. Some troops may ask you for specific flavors and the number of cases for them, and as long as that's a reasonable request, you can feel free to go ahead and fill those orders. But otherwise, you should take a look at these guidelines and use these sort of as we go along. I did want to point out the Toffee-tastics. We have been able to stock all of our cupboards who requested them. So if you did not get a chance to ask for Toffee-tastics for your cupboard for some reason, just let your product sales manager know. We're happy to get those out to you. We did have enough to fill all of our troop orders this year and to stock our cupboards. So I know last year not all of our cupboards had the gluten-free cookie available, but we are happy to report that we do have them for everybody this year. So you should have all 8 flavors of cookies to start off the booth sale and go-getter order filling season with. So that's always good news. And of course, we expect you to go through most of what's in your cupboard, and we're going to talk about how to restock your cupboard in a little bit as well. But for the time being, everyone should be getting their full order, their 8 flavors, and should be good to go. The next item that we have up here for you, oops, let me find where'd my letter go here? There we go. On here are the booth consignment sheets. So cupboards can use these to keep track of the booth information and also of the boxes that are going in and out. So we will have some receipts for you to fill out as well. That way we've got like a duplicate, or actually triplicate copies for you to keep as a cupboard manager and also for the troop. But the booth consignment sheets allow for some space for people to do a little bit of math on them. So for example, this is the sheet that you will keep as a cupboard. This will give you all the information: who's picking up your cookies, who's picking up the cookies, who's the troop, what service unit are they in, their name and email and phone number so that you can contact them. A place to record a return date and time. Just like in the past couple of years, we are able to take back full unopened cases that are in good condition following a booth sale. So troops can pick up their cases of cookies and then have their booth. If they've got a couple unopened cases, they can go ahead and bring those back to you. And it's always, I think, best to schedule a return date and time with them when they are actually at your cupboard picking up. If you would prefer to have them contact you following the booth sale, that's perfectly fine. But we do put a little spot on the sheet for you to record that right here. So you'll fill out the sheet for the number of boxes that are going out, and we use number of boxes, and in our council, again, these will be full cases going out. The majority of these, like I mentioned, Raw Raisins before, and the same perhaps for Toffee-tastics, even for Savannah Smiles, you might have a troop who doesn't want to take a full case of a particular item, but still wants to have a couple of boxes available at their booth sale. If that's the case, you could definitely just give a couple of boxes to them, but any loose boxes that are picked up at the cupboard are the property of the troop, just as if they had picked up like a goal-getter order. So full cases can definitely come back to the cupboard, but individual boxes cannot. So I'll show you some of how to make those entries into eBuddy, but I just wanted to make that clear. If you have cases that do come back, you'll be able to record those in the line that says number of boxes returned, and then you can also record the number of boxes sold down here as well. Sometimes this is helpful, especially for first-time troop leaders or troop cookie managers to sort of do some of this math with them. You can also record, if you'd like to, their number of cookies for heroes that were sold, which will give them an idea of the actual total boxes sold at their booth sale. And then especially if this is a newer site, if in your service unit or in your area and you'd like to put some comments in here, you're welcome to do that. We do take a look at these at the end of the booth sale period, just to see how some of the newer sites did, or even some of the, sites we've used before. So if you have a couple minutes and you don't mind writing in a few comments down here for us, we would appreciate that. The other piece to this is the copy that the troop will take with them. This is, sorry about that, a little difficult to see down here. Here we go. This is a half sheet of paper, so there's 2 on each of these, and you'll have received these in your packet as well. This is just a smaller version for the troop so that they can also record, their date and time for pickup and do their math here. There's a couple how-tos here on their sheet here, just some information, general information about the booth sale, and then a reminder just to let you know that if they do sell out and they don't need to come back and return to you, they should let you know so that you're not waiting for them at their return time. So hopefully you'll have a lot of booths that will sell out, but like I said, we will take back any of those unopened cases in good condition if they do need to bring those back to you. That's not a problem. The next item on here are your receipts. So if you are a service unit cupboard, you actually have what should look familiar to you, which are the cookie money receipts. And those are in a booklet. You can fill those out. What will happen is you will record the number of boxes taken by the troop. You will sign that piece of paper. They will also sign the receipt. You will keep the white copy as the cupboard manager, and they will keep the yellow copy as the troop. That's just a way to transfer responsibility of the cases from you as the cupboard manager to them as the troop leader or the troop cookie manager. If you are a council cupboard, you will have QB receipts, which are just a little bit larger and don't come in the fancy book. They're just loose receipts. And with that, you will sign and record the cookie, the number of cookies by boxes, just like the service unit cupboards will, and you will keep the white copy and the rest of them, and they will keep the goldenrod. So you will actually have the white, the pink, and the light yellow copy, and the troop will take the goldenrod one. It's really important to do these receipts. You'll see when we go ahead and make our e-buddy entries that yes, we are recording all of the pickups and returns in the computer, but as you can probably imagine, sometimes an error gets made when you're entering, you stop halfway through, or the phone rings, or somebody needs something from you. So we just want to make sure that we have some backup as far as what's entered into eBuddy. You're going to want to take a look at those receipts versus your eBuddy entry at least at the end of, of each week, or at least one time per week, just to make sure that you balance your cupboard. So to balance, you're going to want to take a look at how many boxes of each item are actually in your cupboard. So whether that's in your living room or your basement or your garage, you just want to make sure that you count those actual boxes and then compare with what eBuddy says that you should have. And then if you do have an error, the absolute best way to try to figure out what that error is to go back and take a look at those pickup receipts. We do ask that you enter the transactions into eBuddy within 24 hours. This is just because the troops will be taking a look in there. They can see under their sales report and under their transactions in eBuddy all of the boxes that have been assigned to their troop. So especially as we get towards the end of the sale, we just want to make sure that everything is entered in there, and that the troops have a good idea of what they're responsible for and what they need to pay for their bill. It's also a good way, I've done it myself. Sometimes you've entered all the transactions, but if you reverse two numbers in there, you might have assigned cookies to the wrong troop. So you just want to make sure that information is in there, and that if we have a troop that looks like they are missing a transaction, they might give you a call or send you an email and make sure, see why that transaction is not in there, and sort of investigate what's going on there. If for some reason you get a little bit behind in making your entries, please let your product sales manager know, and we will work with you to make sure that we can get all of those in. I do know that in some service units, or even in some council cupboards, there's somebody who does the actual moving of the boxes, and then another person who does the actual eBuddy entry. So if you think that that's something that might work for you, you have a sort of a team approach to it, that's fine. We just want to make sure, again, that everything is entered into eBuddy as quickly as we can get it in there, and that our cupboards are balancing. The cookie adjustment form is the next item on here, and you just have one of these in your packet. It's just a very simple Excel spreadsheet, and it's just a place to record damaged cookies. So we really try, our warehouses try really hard not to have damaged items on their trucks, but as some of you know, when you get down to the very bottom of those thin mint pallets, sometimes those are a heavy cookie, and sometimes the bottom ones can be a little bit crushed. Now, for the most part, those boxes are fine. It's just the case doesn't look so great, but we would ask that you please not accept any thing that looks damaged from the trucker. If you do receive damaged cookies, sometimes there's randomly a damaged box in a case that looks okay, or every so often you'll even get an empty box in there somehow. So if you have anything that's damaged or empty or anything like that, you can just record that on the adjustment form so that we know sort of what the condition is of the cookies that are going out and being accepted by our cupboard managers. And then you don't need to do anything with those boxes except set them aside, and we will get them from you at the end of the sale when your inventory is returned. So again, just a very simple spreadsheet that's in your packet that we just ask you to fill out, and hopefully you won't have too many boxes at all to have to write down on that form. You also have a list of service unit and council cupboard eBuddy numbers, and these will help you to make your actual entries I guess I don't have those open for you. Hold on just one second. These numbers, each service unit is actually assigned a number, and so is each council. So when you are going into eBuddy, and let's say that you're a council cupboard and you are giving boxes to a service unit, you're going to need to record them by name, but you'll also see their number in there. And if you are a service unit and you are requesting boxes to come from a council cupboard, you'll need to know the list of all the names of the council cupboards as well as the number that's assigned to them. So you have a list of all of these numbers inside of your packet as well. Next in your paperwork, you've got some Cookies for Heroes flyers and some Cookies for Heroes box wraps. These are for you to pass out to troops when they are having their booth sales. The flyers, you'll see we've been doing those for quite a while, and that's for people to post at their booths. You might have a troop who already has their own poster made and they're going to bring out to their booth, and that's fine. They don't have to take a flyer, but we definitely want to make sure that the Cookies for Heroes program is being promoted at all of our booth sales. And the Cookies for Heroes box wraps, if any of you had an Election Day booth sale, you would have seen these out and about. They're a wrap that fits around a Thin Mint box, and so they can put this box out on the table as sort of like a ninth option for people to purchase. So we had a really good response from those, from our troops and also from our customers, so we wanted to make sure that we had those in there for you. If you are going along and you've got a lot of business at your cupboard and you're running short on any, of the box wraps, the flyers, or any of the receipts or consignment forms, just let us know and we can get some additional forms out to you. Many of you probably also receive these via email, so you have an electronic copy of at least the consignment sheet. So if it's easier for you just to print off, if you only need couple copies at the very end, you can go ahead and print those off yourself, but otherwise you can let us know and we can put some additional copies in the mail to you, or you can pick them up from us at a council service center. So that's all of your paperwork and all the items that you've received. So now we're going to jump in to eBuddy and get you guys started in here. So most of you probably are troop leaders or service unit cookie managers and are very familiar with eBuddy. I can tell you that if you have been a cover manager before, really none of the transactions have changed. If this is your first time going into eBuddy this year, you will need to update your password, and you'll see that information below, but I'm pretty certain that most of you have already been in here. And you'll also see that eBuddy has a little bit different of a look to it this year, but the functionality as far as the transactions have remained the same. So I'm going to log in. Oops. Try that again. Sometimes I get a little error here. Let's see. There we go. All right, so we are loading, and I am going to walk through the transactions as a service unit cupboard first. So they look just a little bit different. You just go to a different place to make your transaction. So I'm actually not a service unit cupboard manager, so I'm going to go and borrow in Torrington here, and I'm just going to jump to their cupboard manager. So I'm going to now be logged in as a service unit cupboard manager. So if that is you, then this is what you should see when you log into eBuddy. So you will see your service unit and all of the troops listed here. You'll also see any information about the troops that I've submitted and their information on the initial order as well, if that's something that you're interested in. And so when you're ready to make your transactions, you're going to do all of that from the Transactions tab. So you'll see right across the screen here, Transactions. This is where you are going to spend your time as a cupboard manager. Right now we are working on moving all of the cookies into your cupboard. So if you go in there right at this very moment, which is February 18th today, you may not see all of your cookies in there, but we'll be working on that leading up to actual cookie delivery day. So within the next 10 days or so, you will see the cookies making their way into your cupboard. As you guys know, you guys don't have any actual cookies just yet. Our smaller cupboards will be picking up their cookies right at their delivery sites on February 27th and February 28th, and our larger service unit cupboards and our council cupboards will be receiving delivery beginning the week prior. So you guys will start, let's see, if today is the 18th, I believe the 22nd. Yes, the 22nd will be sort of the first day of cupboard deliveries, and you should have been contacted by your delivery agent at this point. If you know that you are supposed to be receiving a cupboard delivery and you have not received your delivery time as of yet, or your day, please just give your product sales manager a call or email us at productsales@gsfct.org so that we can get that information for you. So once all of your cookies are moved into the cupboard, you'll see them listed here. Under your initial delivery. I just put these in today with today's date, so that's why they're there. We ordered these, previously, but I just made the transaction in here today, so that's why you're seeing the 18th listed there. So this particular cupboard is larger. They're getting their own delivery here. So they've got 2,888 boxes of cookies in their cupboard. So we're going to go through and I'm going to show you how to make a transaction to assign cookies to a troop. And then I'm going to show you how to take a booth sale return and how to make the transaction to restock your cupboard. So to start, we're going to go to add a transaction. So I'm logged in as Kimberly, so she would see her information here. But just that will be down there. I just don't want you to be confused because I'm not Kimberly. You're going to put in here when the troop is going to pick up their cookies. So some of you might have set times that you've communicated with the troops in your service unit. Some of you might say, send me an email, give me a call, and we'll, just arrange something between our two schedules. Either way is fine. But just once you know their pickup date, you can just select that. So let's say that these people they're hot to trot, they're going to come, they're going to get cookies. They've got their sale that 5th, so they're going to pick up their cookies on March 4th. You don't need to worry about putting the time in here unless you would really like to. It's not a feature that I use when I'm running my cupboard, but if that's something that you're interested in tracking, you can do that. For the receipt, you're going to go ahead and delete out these gray letters and numbers in here, and you're going to put in the first initial and the last name of the person who's picking up the cookies. So let's say that Jane Smith is coming to get these cookies. So we'll put J. Smith in here. We're going to make this a goal-getter transaction. So we're going to leave the type as normal. I'm going to show you the booth transaction in a minute, but if you were doing booth, you would select booth. You don't need to worry about adjustment or return. We don't use either of these in our council for service units, so you can leave that as normal. The second party, you're going to be giving this to Jane Smith's troop, and she has troop 08423. So it's a little easier if you're a service unit cupboard because you can see some of your troops here. Again, just make sure that you're being careful when you're making your troop entries because flipping a number or two can actually assign cookies to another troop. If you do enter a troop number that doesn't exist at all in eBuddy, eBuddy will give you a heads up. It will tell you, that troop's not in our council, and you can go in and correct it. We are giving cookies to a troop. So when it says product movement, we are removing cookies from the cupboard. So remove product is correct in this transaction. And so again, this is a goal-getter transaction. So Jane Smith probably has, a couple goal-getter sheets from her girls. So we're going to give her some cookies that she needs. I'm just making this up. So if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, that's okay. So we've got 22 boxes of cookies that are going into her troop. So we're going to press OK. And then we're going to press save. I like to save after every transaction. If you'd like, you can enter multiple transactions and then click save, but I don't like to do work twice, so I like to just enter and save, enter and save. That works for me. So you will see now that we have 22 boxes going out of the cupboard, and you'll see that the numbers have changed down below for the cookies that we moved, and they were assigned to this troop. Now, if you would like to double check, or just so you know what Jane will see when she goes into her troop, you can go ahead and click on the troop. You will see the transaction listed here. So this troop did not place an initial order. These are individual girls who are actually coming to pick up at the cupboard directly, but most troops you will see initial delivery and you'll see their whole initial order, and then you'll also see your cupboard transaction there. So we see that this troop has 22 boxes assigned to it, and you'll see in their sales report the line there as well. So it says, yes, Jane Smith picked up her 22 boxes there. So back to the cupboard. We're going to go ahead and add a transaction for a booth sale. So let's say that we have a booth sale that's going on a little bit later in the month. So they're going to pick up on March 18th. And we're going to stay in troop 08423, but their co-leader, Maggie Brown, is going to come pick up these cookies. So again, we're going to go to type. This is a booth sale, so we're going to go ahead and mark booth, and it's for a troop, and it's 08423. Now, we are still removing product from the cupboard and moving it into the troop, so we'll still leave the default as remove product. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to just give them a regular booth sale. But let's see, so we need 60 of those, 12, 36. And then they're going to just take a couple boxes of Toffee-tastic just so that they have them on their table there. So we'll press save. We'll press OK, and then we'll select save. Okay, now, let's say we had a pretty good booth sale. The weather was good, a lot of traffic, but we still have a couple cases that need to come back into the cupboard. So when Maggie Brown comes back, we're going to add in her transaction. I know that it still says pickup here, but that's okay. She's coming back on the 21st of March, and it will be Maggie Brown. Okay. Again, this is still a booth transaction, so we'll put that in there. 08423. Now, this time around, we are adding product to the cupboard. So product is moving from the troop into our cupboard. So we're going to select add product in that drop-down menu. Now remember, you can only return full unopened cases to the cupboard. So once they're open, they're the property of the troop, but we have some that were not opened here, and we are going to bring back these cases. So we've got 4 cases coming back into the cupboard from this troop, and we will save that as well. So you will have a transaction each time cookies come out of the cupboard and each time booth sale cases are returned to the cupboard. Please don't just work off of one line. That's a really easy way to make mistakes, and that's not how we make our transactions at Girl Scouts of Connecticut. So please do make sure you've got one line for when to pick up cookies and one line for when they return them. So the other type of transaction that you're going to want to make in here is restocking your cupboard. Service unit cupboards restock from council cupboards. So at the end of the week, you're going to want to take a look at your inventory, take a look at the booths and the gold gunner orders that have already been submitted to you by troops in your service unit, and make sure that you have enough cookies to fill those orders. If you don't have enough cookies, or you think you've got just enough but you'd like a little bit of wiggle room, we would encourage you to put in an order with your council cupboard. So there's a list of council cupboards that will be coming out to you. It will actually look like this. We're just finalizing some of the hours right now. So you'll see we've got council cupboards in Bristol, Columbia, Dayville, East Lyme, and the list goes on and on here. So depending on where you live, or if there's a council cupboard that's close to where you work, you can pick up cookies at any of these council cupboards here. So a lot of these cupboards are managed by volunteers. Some of those volunteers are on this webinar right now, so we just want to make sure that everybody has enough time to get their orders together. So if you are a service unit cupboard, you're going to need to submit your restock by 2 p.m. on Sunday if you'd like to pick up cookies by midweek. And if you are a council cupboard, they've got a little bit more time to do that, and we'll talk about that when we go ahead and do our council cupboard information. So let's say I've looked at all my booth stuff. It's Sunday morning. I know that I don't have quite enough cookies to fill my orders for the following week, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a restock. So I would like to pick up my cookies on March 10th. Now, that's what I would like. You want to make sure, though, when you are looking at the cupboard manager list that, that cupboard is actually open on the 10th, and then you'll make arrangements, most likely via email, between the council cupboard manager and the service unit cupboard manager to make sure that you have an agreeable time as to when those cookies are going to be picked up. If you would like to select a time in here for your pickup, you can do that, but most council cupboard managers will reach out and set up a time with you. For the receipt, you're going to put restock and then your last name. So I'm just going to use Kimberly's name here. It's a normal transaction. Again, we don't use anything but normal and booth for service units. And you're going to be getting your cookies from a cupboard. So when you come over here is where you're going to see all of our council cupboards. We're going to say that she's going to come pick up in Terryville. She's going to be adding product to her cupboard, so she will leave the add product right here, and then she'll be entering the boxes that she needs. So she's looking to pick up some Savannah Smiles. We're running short, on on Samoas, and we've got a rush on Tagalongs in Torrington. So we need a lot of those. So you will see that this is updated down at the bottom. You'll press save, and that this is a pending order. This means that you have not yet picked up the order from the cupboard. Once you pick up your order from the council cupboard, the cupboard manager will unclick this box on their end, and you won't see it as pending any longer. You'll also see it as pending down here at the bottom of the screen, and then you'll see sort of what your cupboard will look like once those cookies are added to it. So don't be nervous that it says pending. It's just going to say that until you pick up your cookies. So those are all the transactions that as a service unit cupboard manager that you're going to need to make. So I am actually going to switch out and jump back to council to my own username here. And then I'm going to jump into a council cupboard manager role. So let me just get set up in here. Takes me just a second. All right, let me jump to Erica in Terryville. Now, most of you who are council cupboard managers probably have another role within the service unit. So Erica happens to be the service unit cookie manager for the TP service unit. So she has two tabs here. She has council so that she can see all of her troops and her service unit information. And then she has cupboard. So you're just going to make sure that you click this cupboard tab here. And then the cupboard that you're running is highlighted. I don't think we have any volunteers running more than one council cupboard, so you should see just the one council cupboard listed for you here. Again, you're going to be in your transactions, and once again, we are working on moving the cookies in eBuddy into your cupboard. So even if you're a council cupboard, if you go in today, unless you are Terryville, you're not going to see those cookies listed there. You're not going to see all of your cookies listed there just yet. So we do have in here, because Kimberly has put in a restock, we're going to see this is already sitting here. So as a council cupboard manager, you will have these restocks listed. Like I said, you have the ability to check pending. Now, we're very early in the sale, of course, so you've got your cookies in here, and you can absolutely fill this 216 box order. So you're going to go in, you'll let Kimberly know, and then you will come in here, you will click the pending there when she's coming to pick up, and it will unpend for you. You'll be able to contact Kimberly and the other service unit cupboard managers because their email is right here in their contact info, so you can go ahead and contact them to confirm the pickup. So once they've picked up, we're going to save. So you'll see that there. If you're going to have goal-getter, you'll have goal-getter and booth pickups. Your pickups are going to be entered the same exact way that the service units went ahead and entered there. So if we've got a pickup for goal-getters, it's Jane Smith again. It's troop 08423 for her goal-getters. We are removing our product, and she's just coming in for a couple boxes this time around. Again, we'll press OK and save. And then for our booths, it would look exactly the same, except here we would select our booth, and she would be picking up in full cases. So that's the only change there. And again, council cupboards have the same rules, so you will be making one transaction for cookies that go out and one transaction for full unopened cases that come back in your booth sales. Besides making booth and go-getter transactions and filling the restocks for service units, council cupboards will probably need to reorder at least once during the sale. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So you're going to go into add a transaction. If you have a large enough order, so if you have, I believe it's 175 cases or more, you will be able to get a delivery from the trucking company directly to your home. If it's a little bit less, sometimes you're just running low on one thing and you say, you know what, I'm good with everything, but I just need 30 cases of Thin Mints to get me through. You can come pick those up from another council cupboard, usually a staff run cupboard. So for example, Erica's up here in Terryville. She knows I probably got cookies in Waterbury, so she can just run down and get those if it's a smaller order. If it's somewhere in the middle there, it's too big for you to fit in your vehicle, but not quite enough for the trucker to come out and deliver to your home, we will work on getting the cookies out to you. So just let us know what it is that you need. I should let both service unit and cupboard managers know that we do take a look in here to make sure when you're putting in your restocks that you actually are in need of cookies. So if your transactions are not quite up to date and I go in and I say, you know what, Erica, I see that you actually have a ton of Thin Mints. I'm not really sure why you need these. She might say, oh yeah, because I didn't put my transactions in just yet. So it's okay if you need some assistance entering in those transactions, but I do want you to know that we will be taking a look. We want you to have enough cookies, absolutely, but you don't need to be completely surrounded by cookies, all at the same time. It does take time to get them out of the warehouse, and if we need to reorder from the bakery, they're coming from Kentucky, so it definitely takes time to get cookies into the state and then where they need to be. So if we have too many in one area, that's not really super helpful for anybody. So, and those who've done this before, at the end of the sale, the last week and a half or 2 weeks, we'll be working on moving some cookies around within the state to make sure that everybody's got what they need. But when you do need to put in your reorder here, you'll let us know your pickup there and your receipt. So your receipt as a council cupboard will look very similar. It will be restock and then your last name. Now for you, it's going to go under reorder, under type. So you don't have the normal or the booth, you're going to click reorder for this. It will be the entry that you have here. I apologize, you don't select your date because they are going to be most likely delivering to you. So it'll just be the date that you entered, your name, and then you'll be putting in your order. Now you are adding cookies to your cupboard. So let's say that Erica is looking for a lot of cookies. You can enter these in cases if you need to. I'm just making these up. So, okay, so she needs just a couple more in here. Okay, so let's say she's looking for 237 cases. You'll see that in here and you'll click save. What we'll do, these are due, your reorders for council cupboards are due by 9 p.m. on Monday evening. So on Tuesday morning, product sales managers and the director of product sales will be taking a look at these and making sure that we've got the cookies for you and then working with the trucking company and how to get them out to you. Again, if it's a very small order, you can come out to one of the staff run cupboards. If it's a little bit in between, just let us know. And for both service units and council cupboards, again, like I said, I'll be taking a look. And not only will I be looking to make sure that your order makes sense, but if I haven't heard from you and it looks like you're running a little bit low, I'm definitely going to reach out and make sure that you can still, that I'm looking for your reorder if you do need one. Now, if it's the very end of the sale and you say, you know what, I've only got 2 booths in my service unit that are going out this week, I know I've got enough cookies, that's fine. I don't want to give you more cookies than you need, but again, I want to make sure that you do have the cookies for the troops to actually go out and sell. So at the very end, so our booth sales will run until March 27th. That's the last day. We would ask that our service unit cupboards, at the very end, if you know that you just need those cookies for that last weekend, it's okay, and we encourage you maybe that week before to bring back some of the cookies to your council cupboard, or at least to let your product sales manager know that you're pretty certain that you have some extra cases. That way, again, if we need to move some cookies around between the cupboards, we can go ahead and do that. Also at the end, if you're a service unit and you don't have too many, well actually if you're a council cupboard also and you don't have too many cases left, it will be helpful to us if you could return those to one of the service centers. But if you have a lot, we will work with you to pick up those cookies from you either in our own vehicles or with a van. So we'll definitely make sure to get those cleared out for you. I know that we are bumping right into the Easter holiday, so some of you may have some cookies in there over the holiday, but definitely we will work with you to get those out and taken care of as soon as we can. Definitely, if you are council cupboard and you're definitely open and taking returns through the very last weekend, please reach out to us in April. I will be reaching out to you to make sure that we can get those cupboards closed up and ready to go. The other thing is that we do fill our Cookies for Heroes orders out of the remaining inventory after the sale. So you may have one of us picking up from you, but we also, if we have gift of carrying partners in the area, we'll sometimes send those out directly to our cupboards to clear them. At the end of the cookie program, we won't be just looking for your cookies. We'll also be looking to pick up your paperwork. So any of those the large booth consignment forms that you have, any of the tickets, so if you're a council cupboard, those QB tickets, if you're a service unit cupboard, those receipts, we'll need those back from you, as well as your adjustment form and any damaged boxes that you have. So again, we'll make arrangements with you either to have you bring those to an office or for us to pick them up from you. You should also have received, and I failed to mention this earlier, some instructions, some service unit and council cupboard instructions. These will walk you through all of what I went through today. So these happen to be, these happen to be the cupboard ones here. But the service unit ones, again, look very similar, and you'll be able to see those. If you haven't received your packet and you haven't received any online information yet, please just let us know. We'll be happy to send you an electronic copy of all of this while your packet is en route to you. And that should be coming shortly, as I mentioned earlier. We don't have all of this up on our website just because it only pertains to a very small number of people, so definitely reach out if you are still looking for something. And absolutely please reach out if you have any questions or concerns. We're happy to go over anything with you via phone, email. If you want to sit down, have a cup of coffee, go through the eBuddy entries, we can do that as well. Probably not on the 27th or 28th because we're going to be a little bit busy moving all the cookies out at our delivery sites, but please do let us know how we can help, and I will put our contact information up here again for you. And as far as our emails are concerned, as most of you probably know, it's our first initial and our last name at gsofct.org if you're looking to email us, and our contact information is also inside of the cookie program guide that most of you probably have received. So that's all I have for today. I'm looking forward to a really great go-getter and booth sale period with all of our troops and our service units, and we will definitely talk to all of you guys soon. Thank you.